to turn the double play over to baseball. Yeah, that's a terrible one, but I made it work anyway. So obviously, opening night just happened. There was a significant protest in the Coliseum parking lot. The A's did everything in their power to minimize that protest, but still, the people in the protest outside the stadium outnumbered what was in the stadium. The A's announced an attendance of 13,000 and change. There was probably closer to like 6 or 7,000. I mean, it was probably about half that. Brody Brazil actually made a good point. They should announce tickets sold instead of, paid attendance or whatever verbiage they want to call it, announced attendance. If you call it tickets sold 13,000, yeah, okay, I believe that. I think that there were 13,000 tickets out there, amongst the public. Sure.
Yeah,
but in terms
they
of
were running a bunch of promotions right before the game to try to entice people. They were doing like buy one get one, and you can go online and see how much they're discounting tickets. And they did this to themselves. There's
really
no way
did.
there's no way to cut it. There's still John Fisher defenders out there. There's still defenders of critiques of A's fans and why they don't go to the games. And year after year, despite being competitive, there have been years that the A's have been competitive. We talk about Billy Beane a lot. Now David Forst is the general manager, and it's just constant rebuilding, watching players get traded away. And, if you're with any franchise, you're a fan of any team, watching your favorite players get traded away year after year, teams getting, even the dogs are pissed, having teams dismantled year after year, it gets tiring. You don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So you're going to alienate fans. You're going to alienate families. And then when you dismantle the current team and you raise ticket prices, by, you double the price for 100 lost team, like you're going to shake some fans away. Like, you shook the tree. They're all scattering. They don't want to support this.
They also eliminated every benefit that they had for the fans, like the half price concession stands, and just doing everything in their power to major league this.
Yeah.
And it worked. It fucking
it's working.
Worked.
Yeah. And there's still a group of people out there that are going to defend the A's ownership and other ownership groups. And
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure that the A's ownership wears the most exquisite boot leather, so it tastes really good when they're licking it.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's great for them. I'm sure.
But
well,
anyway,
it's,
guys,
it's a lot of politics when you get to that deep into it, and we'll get into it later on, that there's maybe some politicking going on between the A's ownership and Sacramento, but we'll let Sam take it away. So we just had a leaked deal that's supposed to be put on the table for the A's tomorrow or today if you're watching this on a Tuesday. Sam, go ahead and tell us what that deal is here.
All right. So the city of Oakland's proposal to the Athletics has been revealed. The city of Oakland's offering a 5-year lease with an opt-out after the 3rd year.
It's Scott Boras deal.
Right? Approximately $19.4 million, $97 million.
I want to note
for the total deal. Go ahead.
I want to note on that they're currently, because it's not on here, they're currently paying roughly about $1 million.
Right.
It's 1.2, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it's just over $1 million.
Correct.
And the part of the deal would be John Fisher would have to sell his half of the Coliseum stake.
It sounds like that's not a problem, by the way. Like,
right.
That's just, he's like, that's cool with that. That's money in his pocket. He's fine with that. Okay, go ahead.
And then the city of Oakland is asking MLB to grant the city a 1-year exclusive negotiation timeline to line up future owners for an expansion team that would keep the A's in colors or facilitate the sale of the team to a new ownership group. So there's a lot there. Let's break it down.
The way I was reading that, or when Casey Pratt was breaking it down, was that it's 3 options there.
Right.
So you get the 1-year exclusiveness, or you get to keep your name and colors, or you facilitate a sale to a new group. So it could be a combination of 2, sure, but it sounds like that the A's are giving, I'm sorry, the city of Oakland is giving the A's 3 options to work with, to play with here.
And this sounds reasonable to me, but anyway, yeah.
Well, it sounds reasonable, but the A's ownership doesn't do anything within reason, right?
No, they don't. Yeah.
I think that the biggest sticking point in either option is going to be that $97 million.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
I think so.
To continue on about the biggest, I think the biggest thing that the A's are after is the media contract from NBC Sports. So if the A's get to stay in Oakland, obviously they're going to check all the boxes with the Major League Baseball Players Association, but also they get to keep that NBC deal, approximately $350 million over the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
70
money,
mil per. Yeah.
definitely money that they're going to need if they are going to move to Las Vegas. The other thing is, if they're getting, how much was that money per year, Vince?
70 mil per year.
So, and they're already getting about 35 million in MLB welfare. So the A's are getting $100 million a year and have been getting roughly $100 million a year for many years now under the John Fisher group. And not once have they cashed those checks to pay players. So when fans are saying they've been competitive, yeah, they have been competitive, and fans have shown up when they have been competitive, and they could have kept 2 players, Matt Olson and Matt Chapman, and you would have had some equity with this fan base. However you wanted to cut it, Marcus Semien, if you would have kept Semien, you kept that entire infield together. You're probably talking about one of the best infields in all of Major League Baseball, and you're probably still a competitive baseball team after that 97 win team. So the other thing is Sacramento. Vivek Ranadive, the owner of the Kings, and he's also the owner of the AAA stadium in Sacramento. He's trying to lure the A's up there. And that may be a triggering point for NBC Sports to renegotiate their media deal, because no way in hell is Sacramento the same media market as Oakland, California. It's just not the same.
Right.
The other part is NBC Sports doesn't want to be paying $70 million a year for the A's for this current iteration of the team. They're losing money on that, I'm sure. So they want to look to renegotiate anyway. So, right. I mean, if the team does move to Sacramento, this opens up that window. Maybe now they only have to pay 30 million or something like that.
If you're NBC Sports and they move to Sacramento or Las Vegas, like, RSNs are already struggling. Like, regional sports networks are struggling and dying. If you're NBC Sports, I would have to think you're looking for any opt-out clause to get out of this 70 million per year. So
yeah,
I think it's the best interest for the A's to stay in Oakland to guarantee that NBC money. And maybe, you win a couple friends with the Players Association, because who's going to want to, no major league player is going to want to play a AAA Sacramento stadium. Why would you want to sign with a team that's there for 2-3 years or more? And to me, this 5-year, this just in case, you have an opt-out after 3 years, but if you need it, you can go to 5. Already sounds like that Las Vegas is not going to be ready in 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I mean, obviously they don't have as much red tape to go through as California does, but I don't think it's going to be ready at all.
I mean, if you look at Atlanta Battery Park that they built, that took 4 years, and building in Georgia is pretty easy compared to California. Texas, it took them about 4 or 5 years to build that new stadium.
Shit, the Rangers got a new stadium after like
yeah,
Rangers got a new stadium after like 10 years.
Yeah.
You
so
know?
I mean, it's I think 3 years is optimistic at best, and frankly, I'd be afraid to enter that building. I don't see how what they've shown us so far is viable to be built in 3 years.
Well, they haven't. They don't even have they don't even have the way the
they have
sun works
nothing.
properly. They don't even have the
Mhm.
locations of buildings set up properly for your outfield.
Yeah,
They're
literally
so
nothing.
far
Yeah.
from being ready. Like
None
let's
of
just say the Armadillo is the stadium, right?
Mhm.
There's so much that they have to tweak on that to make it a viable and actually playable stadium that I think that alone is already a year out to make sure that they check all the boxes to make it a playable MLB stadium.
design. Yeah.
So no, 3 years that's not
to
going to
do
happen.
to do the architectures and the engineering is a year and a half. I mean, look at the Raider Stadium. You know, that's kind of like the blueprint on how to build in Las Vegas, and they had architectures and engineering in place, and they were changing permits and resubmitting permits and doing things in stages. That's kind of how like theme parks do it. You know, like Disney or Universal Studios will get a land permit. We're going to put a ride here. We don't know exactly what it is, but they can start like grading. So you get a grading permit, and then you can say we're going to put a maintenance building here, or facilities here, and then you can start building that because you know electricity is going in that section, things like that. But the way this concept is drawn is like, you know, this net glass wall thing in the outfield that's translucent, the dome itself, you know, it's just it's going to require a lot of architecture and engineering to just even get it ready to submit for building.
Mhm.
The last thing I wanted to say about this negotiation between Oakland and the A's is they're actually meeting tomorrow. I felt like, why are they meeting on a Tuesday? And maybe that's just like politics that the city meets on a Tuesday.
It's because city officials are off for observance of Easter Sunday. So some government jobs they're not even
I was going
open.
to say this is because no matter what they announced, they didn't want it to be an April Fool's joke.
Right.
So, guys, in closing, what do you guys think about this deal? Does it give you any hopium? Any how does it make you feel?
Honestly, to me, like this is the part of the negotiation where Oakland did pull back a little bit on demanding to keep the team name and colors and getting an expansion team. This was the logical next step in terms of the 1 year exclusive to line up the owner or facilitate a sale or anything like that. Like that was the next step, and it makes sense. And I think all of this is logical, and I don't see a poison pill per se for the A's in this. Obviously the 97 million, that's going to be the toughest sell on that. But the city says that that's not negotiable for them because that's basically what's left to pay off the Coliseum, to pay off Mount Davis. And so
Yep.
that's and the other part is they want the A's to cover the cost for converting the stadium for the soccer games.
I was
I
going to put
believe
that out
they
there.
already
Yeah.
agreed to that.
Yeah,
I believe the A's have agreed to that.
The A's would agree to that, are agreeing to that, and they also did basically in principle to sell the Coliseum stake that they have. So those parts aren't, a big deal for the A's, I believe. So I figure if that $97 million deal number, if they do reach an agreement, I bet it probably drops down to somewhere around 70 or something like that.
Let's say like 80, 70. Yeah, I agree.
Other than that, I think that's probably that's that. Anything else on there, I don't see bad things for the A's. Like this feels like a win-win. They get to keep all of their NBC money at that point. Like it's too easy. So they're they're going to turn it down.
I don't know I'm assuming the A's ownership group can say, fine, we're going to leave the history of the Athletics in Oakland. We're not going to use it. I'm assuming they could do that, similar to what the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens did.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that can happen.
I mean, they kind of already are. I mean, when's the last time you saw a veteran player be called out to throw a first pitch for the
Right.
A's?
But I'm assuming that can happen. However, the 1 year exclusive on expansion, I'm assuming that like the A's don't have any say in that. That would have to probably be MLB and the rest of the owners.
Right.
So I really don't know how that's going to fly. So I'm wondering if this were to move forward, I think the easiest thing would be John Fisher sells the team and he's able to get an expansion team in Las Vegas.
Here's the thing. I don't think he'd be able to get an expansion team. I think I think if once he's gone for good.
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of agree with that too.
I think Major League Baseball doesn't want anything to do with him anymore if they don't have to. Right now they have to. And so of course he's caping up for him. Manfred is, but the sooner John Fisher's gone, the better, I think, for baseball, and they won't let him back in. I don't think.
Right.
So
I don't think so either.
That's one of John Fisher's last bargaining chips, I think.
Yeah.
It's just, I think what still pisses me off about this entire 20 years of frustration with John Fisher, and Lou Wolf was a part of it too. The other day I was watching something, and I was watching the game. I was watching a couple innings of a game, and they go, next year you can train like an Oakland A at the Lou Wolf training facility. And I was like, fuck that guy. He's part of the same shitty ownership. He was part of the problem too. Like, I swear to God, I hope if the A's somehow, some way stay in Oakland and there's a new ownership group, if you're that new ownership group, everything from the prior regime has to come down. Everything. Lou Wolf, John Fisher, anything fucking associated with these people is coming down. Like,
yeah,
I would hope so. I would think
you would basically have the cleanest of clean slates to do right by
start
anything.
it over.
Anything. But
and redesign Howard Terminal not to look like a hobbit hole.
I will say this in my closing marks on this, like, I think it's a win-win for the city of Oakland and for John Fisher. I think if John Fisher they don't agree to the 1 year exclusive thing, keeping the name and colors and letting John have his own stupid team in Vegas, that I think now if you're carrying the Oakland A's or the A's as a team name, you've lost pretty much every credential or every credibility amongst MLB to think that this is going to be a good team. So I think that being the said is that if he gets his own expansion team, he could start over and he could run it however he wants. And I think he's going to get more fan bases in Vegas wanting to jump on to that.
I just had one more thought right now. 97 million. That's more than what was left in the difference on Howard Terminal. It was like 88 million or something like that was the gap, right? So
they walked away for less.
They walked away for less, and there's we talked about it. There's ways to overcome that little of a gap when you're talking about a $12 billion project. So,
well, when you're a billionaire,
John Fisher
did
not want this. John Fisher in the end did not want to be part of the Oakland.
Yeah, and then my last thing here is that him selling the Coliseum stake and me being like an Oakland resident, or us being Oakland residents, I think that's the best thing for the city of Oakland. Like, they could finally do something with this land, whether they want to tear it down and build a new stadium for the Roots or whatever they want to do. Like, being able to have and control that completely and not be strong-armed by a billionaire that you just have a dying concrete dinosaur that's falling apart. I think that's huge for the city of Oakland too. So
as a resident and a homeowner here in Oakland, I still hope, I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope that the Howard Terminal site somehow happens with a major league team there. Because I think having a baseball team on the water and all of that development and the potential there on the water, and then also having the current site being redeveloped would seriously be thousands and thousands of jobs in the construction, in the trades. I work in the trades. If you're a person that ain't making a lot of money, get in the trades, get in them, because nobody's going to take your spot right now. It's hard work, but they pay well. get into the trades. It would be literally thousands of jobs in construction, in the construction industry, the byproduct of industry. And then once those facilities are all built, it's the retail jobs, the restaurant jobs. You're gonna have two areas completely revitalized in Oakland, and it would be a huge win. So, Oakland, I'm not putting 100% of all the blame on the athletics ownership. Some of it is the city and some of it is the county. They're not free of this. But when the A's walked away from the negotiation table, the city was closing in on a deal. They walked away. They walked away on closing a deal that was $80 million, $90 million apart. That's nothing for these mega superstructure construction projects. They walked away. The city of Oakland did not. So maybe the city doesn't, it's not a 50-50 blame. I would say it's like 80-20. But the city came ready to negotiate and work out a deal, and John Fisher and Dave Kaval and the A's walked away.
Sure.
One note on the A's themselves, actually, as a team, Esteury Ruiz was sent down and Rooker was benched. It's kind of like two moves that they don't make sense until actually Last Dive Bar posted a couple pictures of both of those players from opening day. They were wearing little Last Dive Bar little wristbands, and I don't know.
Petty. How petty, man.
I'm not saying that's definitely why, but
yeah. Well, I said that
me.
something in the background must have happened because Esteury Ruiz was hitting 429 to start this series. I know it's 4 games, but 429, and there was no reason for him to be sent down. So I know that they picked up that kid from Baltimore. He was DFA'd and he got called up. That was the move. Esteury Ruiz went down and this kid got called up. But still, if Rooker's struggling, then send Rooker down and call up the other kid. You know what I mean? Esteury Ruiz was hitting 429 to start the season for the A's. Might I add? So it doesn't make any sense. I think something happened. Look, if we're gonna go tinfoil hat, I'm with you on that, Vince. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the fact that I can't rule that out at this point, because of just how petty the ownership group has been. Okay, I think we're done. We got to be done. We need to be done.
To finish what I was saying here,
okay.
They claimed Tyler Nevin from the Orioles, so that's the kid that got called up and Esteury Ruiz went down. So
tight. Okay. I think we need to move on.
Real quick. Okay. Fuck John Fisher.